Hello everyone and welcome back to The Last Lap. In today's video, we're going to be breaking down everything that happened in Martinsville. We were there for it. We're going to break down everything we saw for you guys. But before we hop into it, I just want to remind you guys to hit that subscribe button and that like button. It really does help the channel grow. And you should check us out on our Instagram page at The Last Lap News. We posted a lot of footage from race weekend over there, and Matthew always is joining us. And man, this is my first time to Martinsville. Shout out to you and your dad for having me up there. But that was incredible. That was the best race I've ever been to in person. So thank you guys so much for having me out there. But really quick, what you guys say before we hop into this episode?
Well, it was an amazing, fun weekend. It was great to be with my dad and, of course, Jimmy being there for his first time in Martinsville. It was such an amazing weekend. A lot of fun. We got to do a lot of things there. We got to see some drivers, and I also want to thank Jimmy for bringing one of the new flavors of Rowdy Energy, the blue raspberry flavor. Me and Jimmy, of course, tried that out at the same time during the truck race, and it's pretty good. It's my third favorite flavor now of Rowdy Energy. So, yeah, it was a great weekend, and I'm ready to discuss about it.
Alright, so I'm going to quickly go through the truck and Xfinity race because if you guys watched any NASCAR at all this weekend or seen any NASCAR headlines, there's a bunch of stuff going on with the Cup race that a lot of people are talking about, so I'm going to get through this Xfinity and truck race. In the truck race, in Stage 3, Austin Wade Self decided to hook John Hunter Nemechek in the outside wall in Turn 3 for no apparent reason, and that took John Hunter Nemechek out of the race and nearly cost him a chance at running for a championship, which was very I'm not going to say anything else. I'm sure Matthew doesn't want to say much either, but that was not good. Todd Gilliland looked strong pretty much all race long, even though he was not in the playoffs. Zane Smith and Hocevar, they stayed out to try to get some strategy and some track position, and that ended up working. Came down to a green-white checker finish. Todd Gilliland, Zane Smith, and Stuart Friesen were the three guys going at it. They came 3 wide off of turn 4 coming to the white flag until Stuart Friesen decided to dump Todd Gilliland into the front stretch outside wall, which I got on camera, but you guys will see that in the vlog. That ended up causing the caution to come out, and Zane Smith was the winner, and he would advance to the Final Four next week. So, great race there. In the Xfinity Series, Daniel Hamrick, man, we feel so bad for this man. He was leading with just a few laps to go, and yet another caution comes out and basically ruins his chance to win because him and Noah Gragson restarted side by side. And Noah Gragson, man, he was really wanting this win. He passed Hamrick on the outside coming off of turn 2, and another caution came out, and Noah Gragson was able to hold the lead. He would restart the race for a green-white checker and end up getting the win there. You guys will also see that on the vlog as well. Great win for Noah Gragson. He was able to get the win and punch his ticket to Phoenix, so the Final Four, they'll be there. Noah Gragson, AJ Allmendinger, Austin Cindric, and Daniel Hamrick. Those will be the Final Four there. So, Matthew, those are the two Xfinity and truck recap races that we saw. We saw both of those on Saturday, so what quickly you have to say about those before we hop into the Cup race?
Well, to start off with the truck race, there were a lot of cautions, a lot of spins and wrecks. There's 2 main drivers out there who drove like total idiots that race. First one was what you were saying, Austin Wayne Self, because he basically just wiped John or Nemechek out for no reason, and that basically almost put John or Nemechek below the cut line, which that would have been the absolute stupidest thing ever if he was not going to be in the championship 4. Doesn't make sense at all, but that's how this playoff format is. And then the second one is Stuart Friesen, because this dude is supposed to be a veteran in this truck series, like Matt Crafton and Johnny Sauter. Yeah, he drove like a 19-year-old on the last restart. Decided to wreck the whole field up, even though 1, that was going to bring out a caution, and 2, he wasn't even the leader at that time anyway. So I have no idea what he was thinking at all. So other than that, it was a crazy race for the truck series and Zane Smith. That was a surprise in my opinion. As for the Xfinity race, I feel like it was a lot more cleaner than the truck race, as they would actually have more respect out there. And that included that amazing finish with Noah Gragson and Austin Cindric. They actually didn't even touch it all during that last lap. So that was actually surprising. I thought they were going to be wrecking towards the finish again like Bristol, but that was clean. That was a clean finish right there, and Noah Gragson. Like I said, when he won at Darlington, he was going to be a surprise in my opinion. Who gets in the championship four? And I was right. So it's great to see him in the championship four.
Yeah, I completely forgot to say that it was nearly a photo finish between Noah Gragson and Austin Cindric. Gragson beat Cindric by probably about a half a car length at the start-finish line. That was a great finish as well. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah, about Noah Gragson. I feel like he's a threat to win the championship. Honestly, at Phoenix, I mean, I feel like the Xfinity Xfinity series it's going to be really competitive in the Xfinity series for that race at Phoenix next week. But hopping into the Cup Series, the race everybody wants to talk about, and I'm sure you guys probably want to know our opinions on what happened. But as the race went on, Denny Hamlin and Kyle Larson, they had to both go to the back of the field twice throughout the race. Denny Hamlin had to do it at the beginning of the race, and then he had a pit road penalty at some point as well. And Kyle Larson had two speeding penalties throughout the race. So both of them had to go to the back of the field twice throughout this race. They would both make their way up to the field for the most part. There were a bunch of incidents on track today. But before I talk about all of those, Austin Dillon blew 2 tires today, and he rallied back, I believe. I guess he didn't finish in the top 10. But Austin Dillon, man, he had 2 tire issues, and he fought really hard, so props to him. But the first incident was between Quinn Houff and Josh Bilicki, so they made contact in turns 3 and 4. The last 2 drivers you would expect to get into a fight, or a quote-unquote fight. So they wreck each other, and then they come off of turn 2, and Quinn Houff just decides to take out Josh Bilicki off of turn 2 right in front of a safety vehicle, so really smart move by him. NASCAR was like, nope, we're parking you on pit road for 5 laps. So he got a 5-lap penalty for wiping out Josh Bilicki under caution. And then there was another incident between Ross Chastain and Ryan Newman. They got at it, and there was no penalties there, but they got involved in an incident, and one of them retaliated to the other. So that was another incident. And stage 3. So the first 2 stages, they were pretty calm. Honestly, I think there were only 5 cautions, and 2 or 3 of them were only solo spins at that point, or single car incidents. And Chase Elliott dominated the first 400 laps of this race, and then he said after the race that he made a bad call about some adjustments to make on the car, and his car began to sink like a tank at this rate. But unfortunately, he would drop back through the field. He was trying to hold off Brad Keselowski. They were fighting pretty good and pretty hard for about 10 to 15 laps. Brad Keselowski finally got a little bit loose underneath the Chase Elliott, ended up spinning him, unfortunately, and that pretty much cost Chase a chance to win the race. I think that was about 50 laps ago, and after that, it was cautions breed cautions. So there were a bunch of single car incidents, people getting wrecked and spinned and all that kind of stuff. But Martin Truex Jr., he got a bunch of damage, and he was getting tossed and turned all around the racetrack. He never got spun out, but people were beating and banging against him constantly, so that was causing him to fall backwards. Meanwhile, Kyle Busch and Brad Keselowski were marching forwards and gaining points on him. At one point, Kyle Busch was in as far as the championship 4 goes, as far as points were concerned. And then, the big incident. 7 laps to go. Alex Bowman was very strong. I think he was the best Hendrick car out there today as far as the whole race goes. Him and Denny Hamlin.
Chase Elliott.
Denny Hamlin
was the way better Hendrick car.
Well, Chase Elliott was good until the final 100 laps of the race. His car sank. Meanwhile, Bowman was able to stay up front. So, as far as at the end of the race, when it counted, Bowman, I think, had the best Hendrick car. But anyways, so Bowman and Hamlin were running side by side for probably 15 or so laps, I think. It was very competitive between the two of them. Bowman finally drove in there a little too hard, got loose, hit Denny Hamlin a few times, and ended up wiping Hamlin out with 7 laps to go. And then after that, there were 1 or 2 more cautions. The points were crazy. So for the final restart, Alex Bowman was in the lead. Kyle Busch was second. I believe Keselowski was third and Truex was fourth. So all three of those guys that were fighting for that final spot were right there on the first two rows to see who could make it in. Kyle Busch and Keselowski pretty much needed to win at that point because Truex was in fourth. And man, oh man, Alex Bowman was able to get a great launch on the restart, be able to take off and win the race. Kyle Busch would finish second, Keselowski third. They had a little scuffle as well coming to the checker flag, and Kyle Busch said a few things afterwards that I just saw a tweet that he's going to need sensitivity training for it, which is interesting. But anyways, so that happened, and then as Alex Bowman was coming to the start-finish line to celebrate, here comes Denny Hamlin out of nowhere. He just sends it almost directly into Bowman's car. Alex Bowman spins around to face Denny Hamlin, so they're nose to nose. Hamlin revs it up, basically lines up to Bowman's car and hits the throttle. Like, he does a full-out burnout against Alex Bowman's car to show his displeasure, which I don't know how it's showing displeasure if you're doing a burnout with the winner. But anyways, so his crew chief told him to back off. It's gotta think of the big picture here. So Hamlin backed off, drove away. And man, oh man, we got that whole thing on video. But you guys will have to check out the vlog for that, because the whole atmosphere while that was happening, that was intense. But yeah, that was everything that happened during the race. Truex would make it in. Kyle Busch and Brad Keselowski would miss the playoffs. I think Kyle Busch missed it by 3 points. But Matthew, that was a lot to talk about as far as the race was concerned. A lot of drivers going at it throughout the race, but quickly give me your thoughts about the race, and then we'll kind of hop into the whole debate between Denny Hamlin and Alex Bowman here.
Well, this sums up as this: the first 400 laps was let's just say it was calm. There was still action going on, but it wasn't as aggressive. But when it came down the last 100 laps, that went up like 10, 20, 30 times more aggressive. It was crazy, those last 100 laps. The whole Quinn Houff, Josh Bilicki thing just has me shaking my head and laughing at the same time. I mean, you're like the two worst teams in NASCAR. Here you are wrecking each other under caution because you got spun out for 35th or whatever. So that made no sense to me why they would be mad at each other. They're not going anywhere, being multiple laps down. But other than that, it seemed like Chase Elliott was pretty much the most dominant car of that race. But I guess they made an adjustment, or when the track got cooler and the sun went down, the car just started to fade a little bit. And then, I mean, if it wasn't for that whole Bowman situation, I feel like Keselowski would have gotten the first interview because they want that crowd reaction. Because when he spun out Chase Elliott, I'm like, oh boy. I know, I saw Jimmy, he was so mad about that. How were you feeling, Jimmy?
Okay. Let me explain myself. Okay,
so he was so mad.
When it happened, I was very mad at Brad Keselowski, but
yeah, you were flipping out.
After it happened, I caught my breath, and I was like, okay, Chase was fading anyways, so I don't think Chase wasn't going to win the race anyways. He was fading back. I think they were fighting for third or fourth place at that point, and they were way behind the first 2 or 3 cars. So I realized Chase's car was starting to fade, and I realized that Brad Keselowski, he was fighting for a lot more. Chase was already locked in at that point, so I'm sure Brad knew that, and he was being a little bit more aggressive, and Brad was obviously trying to win to advance to the playoffs. So after all that, after I processed all of that, I was like, okay, I now understand, why Keselowski was a little more aggressive, and obviously it wasn't intentional. It was basically the same thing as the Hamlin and Bowman incident. Bowman drove it in a little too hard. He got loose, hit Hamlin a few times. So it was basically the same thing that happened between Brad and Chase there. So after I processed all of that Chase was fading and Brad had a lot more to lose than Chase, I processed it. I was like, okay, well, it happened, and Chase probably wasn't going to win anyways. But yeah, that's what happened there. I'm over that now. I don't have any grudges against Keselowski, so you can go ahead and continue.
to the other fans I saw there, they were crazy. But going to the Bowman and Hamlin incident, it was just hard racing. I mean, you're fighting for the lead. There's only not a lot of laps left. I mean, they were just going hard, and Bowman just slipped up and got into Hamlin. But I don't think any crowd really, thought that way. They were just only cheering because Hamlin got wrecked. But other than that, it was that's when things got even more crazy. And man, as a Cowboys fan, those last 2 laps. Here's the thing. I was telling Jimmy about this. Instead of taking the outside on that last restart, he should have been on the right behind Bowman. That way, when he got to either turn 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, he would have probably maybe just moved out of the way because you're going for the championship. If Bowman gets mad at us, then he gets mad at us. We're going for the championship. I just wish Kyle would have chose the bomb there. I feel like he would have had a way better shot that way. But that's not how it worked out. So, it is what it is. And, yeah, that was disappointing. But, Kansas is what really hurt our chances. That was really what made the difference. But other than that, it was really intense for the whole time. And then as for Hamlin post-race, the whole post-race thing with Hamlin Bowman, Hamlin was a little out of line there, in my opinion. Not only just the thing what he did, when Bowman was trying to do his burnout, but also his post-race interview when I couldn't hear a thing he was saying the whole time because all I heard was boo, so loud. Everyone was booing at him. It was crazy. It was so loud. I couldn't hear what Hamlin was saying during his interview during that race because it was all you hear was boo everywhere. But yeah, Hamlin kind of went out of line there, in my opinion, with his comments too. I mean, Bowman has more wins than Hamlin. People can argue though that Bowman may have gotten lucky on a couple of those, but he still got 4 wins. He still got more wins than Hamlin, but. Hamlin shouldn't be too mad. He's in the championship 4, and Bowman's not in the playoffs, so you shouldn't get that in your head either. So, yeah, it was definitely a crazy ending, that's for sure. It'll be interesting to see what happens in Phoenix. 2 Hendrick cars, 2 Gibbs cars. We'll see which one of those 2 teams has the better car than the other in that team. I mean, Larson's going to be hard to beat in my opinion, but like this weekend, he was up there for like the first stage and then he disappeared because he kept getting speeding penalties. But, we'll see how it goes next week. But that was just awesome. This is why I'm glad they have Martinsville in the bottom cut of the last race before the championship because look what we just saw, this craziness.
Yeah, those final, I guess you call it 50 laps after Chase got dumped. He was already locked in and all that. I told you, I was like, well, I guess I'll cheer for you. You're my friend and all that. So I was rooting for you that Kyle would get in, and that was intense between him, Truex, and Keselowski because Truex had a bunch of damage on his car.
Yeah, I don't get how that tire didn't blow. That's got to be the most durable tire I've ever seen this season.
Yeah, I don't know how Truex. He had left front damage, but he also got shoved into the wall out off of turn 2 down the backstretch. So I don't know how he muscled that car up to. I don't remember where he finished. He finished 4th, so I don't know how he did that. But what really saved Martin Truex, and I've heard a bunch of people talking about this, is the choose cone. So I think he was 6th or something like that when they came to the choose cone, and he went to the outside behind Kyle Busch. So that gained him 2 or 3 spots already right there. And all he really had to do was stay within sight and sound of Kyle Busch and Brad Keselowski. Unless one of them won, obviously. But all he had to do is stay 1 or 2 positions behind them, and that's what he did. He did that to lock himself in. So, yeah, as far as the whole Denny and Bowman situation, I agree. I think everybody's on the same page about this, is that the incident was hard racing. Bowman you could tell in his interview that he really didn't want to wreck Denny Hamlin like that. He even bumped him a few laps before that happened and let him have the lead back, basically. So Alex Bowman, definitely nothing intentional there. He's a really cool guy. He's a very calm guy. Even, like they were interviewing him and he just seemed as cool as a cucumber. Like he wasn't fired up or anything. So I really like that about Alex Bowman. But this win, nobody can take away that he earned this one. Like everybody could argue, oh, he got lucky at Dover. He got pit strategy and came out in front. Oh, he had a really good short run car at Richmond, got lucky on a restart. Oh, he got lucky. Kyle Larson blew a tire at Pocono. You can't do anything about this race. He earned this one. He had a really good car, was fighting for the lead most of the race, held off Kyle Busch and Brett Keselowski to get the win on that green white checker finish there. So Alex Bowman definitely earned this win, his 4th win of the season. Great for him. But as for the whole Hamlin incident, everybody I've heard and seen is on the same page that he definitely crossed the line there with what he did after the checker flag. Does he have a right to be upset? Yeah, of course he does. I mean, he got taken out battling for the lead with 7 laps to go at Martinsville. So, I mean, he definitely has a right to be upset, but there's definitely a line. You don't use your car to retaliate after the race like that. And there's a cameraman down there too, and who knows what could have happened if his car. I mean, he came in there really hot at the start-finish line. He slammed the brakes and the car slid pretty far. And when he was pushing against Bowman's car, doing his burnout, quote-unquote, he shoved Bowman's car at least a whole car length backwards. So definitely not a good move for Denny Hamlin there. It doesn't look like NASCAR's going to do anything about it, but I think they should at least fine him for it. But as of now, for what I've seen, it doesn't look like they're going to do much for it.
But that makes no sense.
I think they definitely need to do something about it. Matthew, go ahead and say what you want to say real quick.
So you're telling me Kyle Busch can use a word that, okay, that word, you don't say it, that you're not, I mean, you can't really say that because it's, it's really sensitive, but he apologized on Twitter for it, but he's got to go sensitivity training for saying a certain word. But for Denny Hamlin to use his car as a battering ram after the race and then start dropping an F-bomb in the interview, which I didn't hear initially because, like I said, we were just hearing boos everywhere. Can't hear anything. And then, just start saying stupid stuff like that. Nothing. No fine. No warning. Nothing. He gets way clean. So I guess, whoever Kyle Busch does something, he's going to be the automatic first target for NASCAR. So it's whatever. So, yeah, doesn't make sense to me, but it's whatever.
I do also want to briefly bring this up that, like, the drivers, they've been using a lot of explicatives on live TV lately, especially this year.
I know Dale Jr.'s not happy about that.
Like, NASCAR, they've been consistent with not handing out fines and stuff for that, but I mean, I think the drivers got to tone it down just a little bit because, I mean, there's a decent percentage of fans that are children. Like, these are kids that are watching this stuff on live TV, and they're seeing all these drivers drop this bomb there, that bomb there about this driver is a you-know-what, and that driver's a you-know-what, and I think NASCAR might honestly have to step in a little bit and say, hey, if you guys keep saying this stuff on live TV, we're going to have to slap a fine here and there, because, I mean, I honestly think it's a little bit out of hand, but I
don't think drivers would listen to a warning either way. I mean, you're in a metal coffin for 500 laps, so of course you're not going to automatically think, hey, I gotta be careful what words I say. Your mind's just in a blender. You just like bleh, like all over the mic, just like bleh, just spilling that stuff that you're going to regret later on when you're sleeping.
Yeah, I definitely agree, but yeah, I mean, I think literally everybody's on the same page about Denny Hamlin and what he did after the race. I do think there should be some type of penalty for that because that's just unacceptable. I mean, they put Quinn Houff under a 5-lap penalty for dumping Josh Bilicki under caution right near a safety truck, but they're not going to do anything for Denny Hamlin, who recklessly drove around Alex Bowman while he was celebrating with a cameraman right there near the wall. I don't know. I've heard, according to Twitter, like Bob Pockris and all them saying that there's not going to be a penalty or anything, but I did hear NASCAR vice president say that they're going to look at it, but from what I've heard, they're not going to do anything. But anyways, let me go over the top 10 and the playoff finishers with you guys, and then I'll tell you guys, we'll do a brief, small little talk about the Phoenix really quick, but Alex Bowman obviously got the win. Kyle Busch finished second, Keselowski third, Truex fourth. William Byron got a top 5. All the Hendrick cars look very strong today. Eric Almirola is 6th, a great run for him. Kurt Busch 7th. Eric Jones and Chris Buescher 8th and 9th. Great run for those guys. Joe Logano 10th. Ryan Blaney 11th. Definitely did not live up to the expectations today. I thought, excuse me, I thought Blaney was going to run very well today, but the Penske cars just did not run that well besides Brad Keselowski. Kyle Larson rallied back to 14th after 2 speeding penalties. Chase Elliott 16th after getting dumped by Brad Keselowski, and Denny Hamlin 24th after obviously the incident with Alex Bowman. So, Matthew, do you have any closing thoughts? Or, I mean, we're going to Phoenix next week, the final race of the season.
We gotta do our ratings.
Oh, yep. Thank you. So, you can go first. Go ahead and give me a rating for. You can either do a rating for just the Cup race or the whole weekend or whatever you want. So,
well, I'm
you
gonna
got it. Go ahead.
The Cup race, like we always
go for
do.
it.
So I'm gonna give it a 10 out of 10. One of the best races this season. It was full of craziness, action-packed, drama, tempers flaring. I mean, it almost had everything that we expect to see at Martinsville in a playoff race. 10 out of 10 for me.
I gotta agree. 10 out of 10. Perfect race. My first Martinsville race in person. I might be a little biased, but who cares? It was a great race. The whole race was good, but those final 100 laps were just incredible. With all, I think they said there were like 13 or 15 cautions in the final 100 laps of this race. So it definitely got intense in those final 100 laps, and with the whole drama between Truex falling back, Kyle Busch and Brad Keselowski having a chance to win the race and lock themselves in. Obviously, Hamlin and Bowman getting into it. So it's got to be a 10 out of 10 for me as well. And also, our fantasy update. You're not going to believe this. We're actually tied. We are tied going into the final race of the season. It cannot be any more crazy than that. So that's going to be interesting for next week at Phoenix. They'll decide, their own championship. We're going to decide our own little thing here. So that'll be fun to talk about. But do you have any other closing thoughts before we go ahead and wrap the episode up?
Well, one part that you're going to see in our vlog coming up, we actually got to see some drivers and some other people that we see on social media. Like, I'm sure Jimmy will love to talk about that. We saw all the playoff drivers. We saw even Travis Pastrana there. We saw Dale Jr. Well, we didn't, get autographs. I know Jimmy got an autograph with Travis Pastrana, but I didn't. But other than him, we didn't really get to, meet anybody. We just saw them go by, their golf carts and stuff. And we also got to see we got to meet one of NASCAR's reporters, which was who was a great guy to talk to. And yeah, you'll see that in our vlog.
Yeah, that was awesome to so it was Jeff Gluck that we were able to meet. I was able to reach out to him, and we've been talking for quite a while about meeting up. I told him that we'd be at Martinsville, and he said, yeah, let's hook up. So we were able to hook up on Saturday and talk for quite a bit, and he knows a lot of stuff. He told us a few stories that we're probably not allowed to tell you guys, but it was pretty cool.
Classified. I'm sorry.
It was pretty cool to talk with him about a variety of things and see what goes into what he does on a regular basis. We actually saw him in the RV lot with the drivers doing interviews. Obviously, we weren't allowed in there, but we saw him interviewing drivers and stuff. So yeah, we got a bunch of footage that we're gonna share with you guys from seeing all the different types of drivers and other kind of people. But yeah, it was really cool to be able to see that, and the vlog's gonna be very exciting, so hope you guys stay tuned for that. But as for this video, I'm pretty sure that's gonna
man, Kyle Larson was short though.
I met him before.
I thought he would actually be as tall as me, but I'm actually taller than him.
I did meet him at Richmond one time, and I believe he was shorter than me in the picture that I got with him. But yeah, it's definitely cool to see the
Hey,
drivers.
that doesn't matter. He still got nine wins, so that doesn't matter anyways.
That is very true. Do you have any other closing thoughts before we wrap it up?
Oh no. You'll see everything else in our vlog here, so we're gonna be done talking now.
It was a long weekend, but we got a lot of good footage out of it. We hope you guys enjoy that vlog. But make sure you guys stay tuned to our social media to make sure you guys are aware of when that video comes out, because we'll be posting it on there saying the vlog is live. So you guys definitely don't want to miss that. Stay tuned to our social media for that. But until then, we will see you guys next time.